This video classroom lesson is sponsored by Transmission Bench. Visit the transmissionbench.com store for the deluxe super kit, other parts, and even the video classroom lessons used during this project.
Hi, and welcome back. Here's an overview of not only what we will do, but also how we'll do it. The project has two parts. Part 1 is an introduction to the Workspace Tools and the transmission disassembly. Part 2 introduces replacement parts and discusses common problem areas while moving step by step through the reassembly. The lessons in each part usually last only a few minutes and cover one or two areas of the transmission at a time. This way, you can always find a convenient place to pause and start again later. By the end of the course, we will have dissected, diagnosed, and finally reassembled the entire transmission. This is Part 1, Lesson 1, so let me start by describing our Workspace Tools and how we'll work safely. We'll use two separate areas as you see here. I have the transmission to disassemble on one bench and another bench to place parts on as I remove them from the case. Try to duplicate this separate area as close as you can in your work area because it's important you set the parts so they remain in order without being disturbed. I'm going to flash forward for a minute and show you how my benches will look after teardown. Here's the transmission completely disassembled, and notice the parts placement. They're arranged neatly and orderly. This is our goal to reach by the end of Part 1, so keep this in mind as you set up your workspace. Once again, you need a separate area where parts won't be disturbed until you're ready to begin assembly. Now let's look at the tools we'll use during the project. If you think 4L60E transmission repair means you need a lot of special tools, well, you're wrong. I will demonstrate a few professional tools along the way, but I don't expect you to have them. They can be a little pricey and hard to find, so I'll show you how to work without them. There is one special tool you absolutely must have, and I'll get to it in a minute. The rest are either very common or easily made from materials at hand. Most of the tools used on this transmission are common mechanics tools like you see here. The most exotic is an inch-pounds torque wrench. The rest are common hand tools. We will not use any power tools such as air impact guns or ratchets. Aluminum is a soft metal easily damaged by air tools. These are tools homemade from scrap and used to compress the spring cages. They're not hard to make and can even be fabricated from wood. We'll build and use them in Part 2. Here's the special tool I mentioned earlier. This is a unique bit used to remove the bell housing bolts. It's called a Torx Plus bit, and nothing can be substituted for it. Even though a Torx 50 bit seems to fit the bolt, it will not work. Trust me, it will strip out the bolt if you try to use it. My source for this tool is the Sonax company, but the bit doesn't come with a holder. I used a Craftsman type like you see here. I removed this T50 bit using a press and installed the Torx Plus bit in its place. One more thing before we get started. Protect yourself and work safely. Transmission repair can be dangerous, so make sure your work surface is sturdy enough to handle the weight. Wear eye protection and keep work gloves close by. When you're ready, meet me in Lesson 2.